And as usual, many of us know who is Dr. Stephen Gill in the midst of us. We welcome you, Dr. Stephen Gill. And also we have welcomed Stephen and Rose for a long time we have not seen. I thought they went to rapture. So now they see us here. I see them here. And thank God. And any other new faces that I think all of us are familiar faces. I know God is going to do some great thing in the midst of us. Yesterday we had a peace conference. He was one of the speakers and I was one of the speakers. We had a wonderful time. And today, without much time wasting, I want to call the doctor. Before I call him, let me introduce Dr. Stephen Gill. Is an author of 39 books and many times a Nobel Prize, nominated for Nobel Prize. And I wish that this year or next year, I think next year, isn't it? Next year, that he will get his Nobel Prize for Literature. Wow. And he is also a member of Convent Church, our church, not any other church, Living Light Church, of our church. And he is also responsible for many souls over there. And you know, there's many ways to evangelize. He is evangelizing his writing. He's good in writing. Amen. So all of us has different skills, you know. Amen. We all have different skills. And I know that his skill is writing and he's evangelizing and promoting Jesus through his writings. And he's a respectable man in Cornwall society. A lot of people know him. And his daughter is also a worship leader in another church. And we appreciate for taking your time to come over here and to give the time. So let's welcome Dr. Stephen Gill.
Well, yesterday we had this peace conference, and what I am going to talk about is continuation of what I said last night, living and let living. I believe that live and let live, this philosophy, is very old philosophy, and it is indispensable to practice it if we want peace in our life. But before going further, I would like to thank Pastor Peter for this introduction, beautiful introduction. He was one of the speakers last night. And also, I'm very happy that I am sharing podium with Pastor Ruben from Sri Lanka. And it is really a privilege. Jesus said, those who use sword are killed by sword. The ideology of live and let live is the base of Christian theology. Christ preached, Christ practiced, and he urged every human to follow him to attain peace. Christ is the Prince of Peace. He is called the Son of God, and God is love. We all know God is peace. One can observe God's love and peace in nature, and nature is open book of God. According to Christian scriptures, God created human in his own image, and therefore humans have inherited the elements of love and peace from the Creator. God placed his creations in Garden of Eden, which had the environment of love, surrounding of peace. This location is described in Genesis 13 and also in the book of Ezekiel. I believe Garden of Eden is associated with Aramaic root word that means fruitful and well-watered. And water is the symbol of life in many cultures. It is a symbol of life in many countries. Adam and Eve had peace with God. Adam and Eve had peace in marriage. Adam and Eve had peace in the environment, and it was the last location of peace on earth. They didn't need movies to have peace. They didn't need newspapers to have peace. They didn't have to travel anywhere to be happy and to be peaceful. They were without any social distractions. Life in the Garden of Eden was perfect. Love and peace were everywhere, all over. There was harmony in the environment of Adam and Eve with the Creator. Human was created to live forever without any sickness. I often say, based on my research, that I did more deeply when I was writing my novel, The Coexistence, and another novel, The Chhattisgarh, and at that time I was very much convinced because I found during my research. I found out, and most of you also believe, peace gives health. That's very important in life. That's why we all want peace. Peace gives health. Peace gives disease-free body. Peace gives happiness. And very important part is we want prosperity, but we don't look sometimes for peace. But peace gives progress. Peace gives prosperity. A country that has no peace becomes poor. No one likes to visit that country and they're tourists. And there are so many countries in this world who live just on tourists. The money that they bring, it is an industry. But if a country does not have peace, nobody likes to even visit. And the country loses foreign currency. As a result, that country will start losing foreign currency, and several nations, as I said, live just on the money of tourists. It is an industry by itself. It takes a long time if I illustrate it. The country where there is no peace does not have money from tourists. Not only that, investors from other countries will not invest money in that country because there is no stability. Even those who have money will take their money out of their banks and deposit in foreign countries. Youth and talented people will move out of that country. They would like to settle abroad where there is a peace. There is a disorder in the country, politicians create, then what happens? Another problem starts. If there is no peace, politicians create imaginary fears that their country is going to be invaded by a neighboring country. Then what happens? They use taxpayers' money and also borrow money heavily from outsiders to strengthen their armies because they create fear, unnecessary fear. This money that should be used to open colleges, the money that should be used to open schools and orphanages, that money is used to buy engines of death. Citizens lose the beauty of peace because they inherited blood that became poisonous after Adam and Eve tasted the fruit of a particular tree that is called tree of knowledge. Now there are around 160 antonyms of peace, opposite words of peace. Some of them are words like disagreement, hate. Another word with antonym of peace is disharmony, war, frustration, worry, fear, disorder, and so on. As I said, about 160, and even there may be more. And all these antonyms, all these opposite words, opposite to peace, they are in that tree. That tree produced that fruit of those antonyms. Now God is all peace and love. And God's rival, Satan, has all these elements, 160, which are antonyms of peace. Satan lied to our first parents, and as a result, they tasted the fruit, and as soon as they tasted it, they were disconnected with God. It was natural. This story of disconnection, or they were exiled from that garden, or moved out, it has been told in different ways. I tell it in another way. All these different ways have truth. But there is a disconnection that I see. They were in that garden, and I am using, see, the language. There are different ways of explaining the same thing, because even last night we were discussing, Pastor Peter was there, that human language is not perfect. No matter which language, whether it's English or Maharashtrian or French, or no matter which language, they all are imperfect, because language is creation of intellect. See, I am talking, but I am using my gestures. It's the one language. Gestures. Sounds. This is another language. I'm using English, but I'm using other languages also. Language of gestures, sound, and different way, because language is not perfect. Any language. So that's why historians or prophets or authors, they use different symbols, different ways to explain the same story, but they all have truth. Language, as I said, is an intellectual exercise, and one way to explain the story is through the logic of reaction. That's what I use often here. We know that every action has a reaction. If we eat nourishing food, the result is health. And if we take poisonous food, even then there is a reaction. The immediate reaction of that poisonous tree was the death of beasts. That is the topic. And that was the result, that was the reaction. Some said they were driven out, or this, but every action has a reaction. And the reaction of that eating, because they disobeyed God, God told them not, they lost the peace. That was the immediate reaction, was the loss of connection with God. Holy and unholy, the two opposite things, they cannot meet. Just like evening and morning, they cannot meet. God is all love. God is all peace. And even when His commandment was broken, Just like parents, they tell children don't do this thing, but they do it, but that does not mean that they lose their love. Love is still there. They will still help the children if they are involved with an accident. Same, he still God loved Adam and Eve who were wounded. They were injured because of the lies by Satan. God gave Adam and Eve hope by assuring that he will send his son to restore peace for them. He came down to earth. God himself came down to earth, and in a different form. We call him Jesus because we have to give some name. And God came down to earth and called him Jesus. And Jesus could do everything that Almighty can do. Jesus was the physician of the physicians, to give life of love and peace to the people who inherited or still inherit the poisonous effects of that tree. That was the poisonous tree. It has been explained in a different way, but I say all the antonyms of peace were in that tree. The recipe that Jesus gave is the recipe of faith in him, in Jesus. The faith that is in deeds. And these deeds embody the principles, as I said, live and let live. Any faith without deed is dead. That is written in. The best example of live and let live is in the Sermon of the Mountain. And in that sermon, it's very clear that all these good things about life to attain peace, live and let live, they are in that sermon. This poisonous environment in which we live because of our first parents, in this environment killers are glorified, and those who make wars are honored and praised. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mountain in Matthew 5 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." These children of God increase joy. These children of God increase peace. These children of God try to recreate the Garden of Eden on earth by promoting peace through peaceful means. These peaceful means to attain peace that is beyond human understanding is the teachings, are the examples set by Jesus. He rightly says, as recorded in John 16, verse 13, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have troubles, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Amen. Let me conclude about the peace that Jesus is talking about. I would like to summarize that the beauties of peace which the Prince of Peace have in mind, that peace is the heart of the body. And if the heart stops, life stops. That peace that is beyond human understanding, and Jesus taught, is a liberator. That peace is a healer. If there is any true religion in this world, that religion is peace. If there is any true language that is in this world, and that is the language of peace. If there is any true culture in this world, and that is the culture of peace. Peace and love are the supreme sources for great work of art. Peace is the ocean. Peace is the energy that comes from this ocean, and that peace is infinite. Peace is the wave of the infinite ocean, and that infinite ocean is the Almighty. Even the personal peace is so powerful. It is so powerful and strong that it forces rulers to abdicate their throne. Some of you know the story. In 1931, King Edward, King of England and Prince of Wales, he fell in love with Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee, and according to the law he couldn't marry. So Edward abdicated the throne after ruling for less than a year to marry her. Another story of Buddha. He left the throne to nomade, to roam around in jungles to find reasons of the human suffering. Several individuals, they practice detachment into way of thinking. So several individuals practice detachment, some practice meditation for peace. Most people seek peace in wealth, or in health, or in establishing, and they want to establish their name in areas like sports and arts. Let me touch. Peace in life of an individual is important, but every organ of the body needs peace to function properly. This is the way, as I have said in the beginning, to gain longevity, disease-free living, health, and all the blessings. Peace is the base. Human can find the recipe of this space in the 4 Gospels of Christ. That's where peace is. Now, thank you very much.